terms. You'll provide the term and then read the definition. Mr. Fowler, first term.
Francis Joseph inherited the Habsburg throne during the tumultuous period when nationalistic movements were raging in Austria.
Excellent job. Next term, Mr. Hurley.
Bernick Deek.
Mm-hmm.
Moderate Hungarian leader who helped work out a compromise that created a dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary.
Excellent. Okay, now one thing I want you guys to understand here, when we have Francis here, Joseph and Deek, it also may appear as Franz. Okay? I see it, Fernick. You're good with that. Franz or Francis is fine. Next term, Mr. Fowler.
Dual monarchy. Compromise that created Austria-Hungary as separate states with their own constitutions and parliaments, but with shared ministries of finance, defense, foreign affairs in the same room.
Excellent job. When we hear dual monarchy, because this will reappear in your guys' unit test, the quiz, as well as the MME, you always have to remember Austria-Hungary. Okay, dual monarchy, Austria-Hungary. It's one of the most important ideas, which is why we have that double eagle symbol. Two nations united into one body. Okay, final term, Mr. Hurley.
Balkan powder keg. Name given to the Balkan region in the early 1900s due to the complex web of competing intersex and explosive nationalistic tendencies.
Good. Now, with our Balkan powder keg vocabulary term here, we can literally divide this into two regions. Number one, the region itself, the Balkan Peninsula, and who knows where that's at? Mr. Vanetta?
It's by the agency, and it connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea.
Very good. Basically, if you could locate Greece on your map of Europe, okay, and then just travel northward a few hundred miles, almost to where you get to where you find modern-day Mother Russia, that's what we're looking at here, okay? Now, why is it titled a powder keg? Can someone explain this to me? Ms. Stashnik?
Guns? Like gunpowder?
Okay, so describe gunpowder.
Explosive.
Explosive. Now, the movie National Treasure, okay? The first one where the secret lies with Charlotte. Do you know where I'm at here?
Yeah.
Okay? They're exploring that ship in the Arctic, and they get down to where they find the decaying captain, or decayed at that point, and he's clutching to that powder keg. All right? Now, obviously, conflict ensues, and the whole thing just blows up, right? Is essentially the description that we have of this region. Because basically what we have going on here, the 30 plus of us in the room, in this one single room, represent each a different culture. Each one of you feels that you have the right to control the whole room. That doesn't work, right? Okay? Unless you have some authoritative figure in the room issuing control. Well, again, if you have nationalist uprisings, it's only a matter of time before one spark to our powder keg sets the whole region up in smoke. Okay? The Habsburgs tried to limit what? Mr. Kelly?
Industrial development and use of the word constitution.
Very good. Now, they tried to limit industrial development, but at the same time, we have many other nations, the United States, Great Britain, Germany, to name a few here, that are emphasizing industrial development. Okay? They're trying to limit this because they saw it as a threat to their power. Now, if someone explain how industrial development could be a threat to a monarch, a king or a queen. Caden?
Wouldn't it kind of take the power out of their hands and into like the society a little bit more, like of workers?
So it could limit the power of the king or queen, but how? Nate?
The government might have to rely on one company who set up a monopoly.
So the government would have to start relying on the people instead of the people relying on their government. Now consider this though, okay? Bill Gates is very wealthy, yes? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, he has a couple of $1 billion. Okay. That being said, he has a lot of money. Now you've heard the statement before, money equals power, right? To an extent, that is unfortunately true for those who don't have a great wealth of money. What we have here, industrial development, people are earning more money, okay? Which again equals power. Once people have power, they challenge the ruler. Okay, so people equals money equals power equals less power to who? Very good, the monarch. Make sure we have that because we have an absolute monarch right now. Excellent. Okay? The legislature set up by Francis Joseph, new constitution was dominated by whom? Riley.
The German-speaking Austrians. The reforms satisfied none of the other national groups that populated the empire.
Excellent. It's only representing one group. Now, again, it's German-speaking Austrians, who we have here. If you are part of that group, you're fine, right? But if you are any one of these other cultures that we have in this room, okay, so say maybe myself and the first two rows here represent German-speaking Austrians, we're just okay, but the rest of you, the majority, are outraged. You have a government that favors only one specific cultural group. So the rest of you are going to be oppressed. But lucky for us, the first two rows and myself, we hold all the money. Okay? So we're living just okay, we're happy about all this, we're going to move on comfortably. You all will struggle. When you struggle, you get ideas. When you have ideas, nationalist uprisings occur. Any questions so far? Brilliant. We move on. Under pressure from the Hungarians, the dual monarchy of Austria-Hungary was created, in which... Sydney?
Austria and Hungary were separate states with their own constitutions and parliaments, shared ruler Francis Joseph as Emperor of Austria and King of Hungary. Also shared ministries of finance, defense, and foreign affairs.
Okay. And we'll say foreign relations. Okay. So we have here, each state has its own constitution and parliament. So essentially its own outlining of the government and establishment of rights. And with this here, we do share a common ruler. What are some benefits with this? What do you guys think? Take a couple seconds to think about this. The benefits of having one ruler, but separate governments. What do you guys think? We have one ruler, separate governments. Caden?
Like the benefits of it?
Yeah.
They'd both be the same. There wouldn't there'd be like a less chance of a war between those two. Like I don't know, say like you get along better. It'd be a more similar way of living.
So there'd be consistency in the government in that you report ultimately to one individual, but you're still allowed to have your own freedoms. Now we're familiar with the vocab term realpolitik, yes?
Yeah.
Which means what?
The needs for
real
people
needs
or
of the
government.
state.
The needs of the state. Okay? Are everyone in Austria and Hungary exactly the same?
No.
Are all economic, political, and military conditions in Austria and Hungary exactly the same?
No.
Therefore, you can't have similar policies on all of those different factors. All right? It's like if you try to analyze the economy of Michigan compared to California and compared to Wyoming. Very different situations. But we have one president. Okay, we have separate constitutions, separate state governments, one federal center. Same theory here. Now, an example locally, Hudson and Morenci have different school boards, different principals, different teaching staff, the same superintendent.
Same buses.
Okay? And this is the same theory over in Hillsdale County, Jonesville, and Reading. Separate everything but superintendent. Now that superintendent can be compared to Francis Joseph, who's going to be calling the final shots as far as major purchases. Say, for example, you have to build a new building. Okay? But ultimately, as far as like competition on state tests, the ACT, the MME, that's district specific. Does that make sense? Extreme and important major decisions settled by one person, the superintendent. In that example, Francis Joseph, and ours. But other more specific things to your building and your district itself, settled internally. Nate?
Does that mean Hungary could declare war on someone and Austria wouldn't have to fight?
No, because they share the same Ministry of Defense. Okay? But if they wanted to trade internationally, then they could potentially do that on their own. Okay? Balkan nationalism became mixed with the ambitions of great European powers when, Seth?
In the 1800s, European came to see the Ottoman Empire as the sick man of Europe and scrambled to divide Ottoman lands.
Very good. Okay? Pretty powerful description here. The sick man of Europe, the sick dying man of Europe is our description of this territory. Why might, I mean, you could go as extreme with this example as you want, Unfortunately, as we age, we become more fragile, more susceptible to disease. Disease could be economic plague, for this example. Multiple bad decisions causing the economy to collapse. Same theory here. It's very fragile and very easily taken over, is what we have going on. Okay, any questions thus far? Brilliant. Objectives. Describe how nationalism was a divisive force in the Austrian Empire. However, before we answer this, there's one key word in there that some people are like, I don't know what this means. Divisive. Someone define that for me. Michaela?
To divide up.
Okay, to divide up, to cause separation within? Absolutely. Okay? That being said, how did nationalism serve as a divisive, a separating a force that causes division within Austrian Empire? Mr. Deckert?
The demand for nationalists separated the German-speaking Austrians from the Slavic groups of Austria. When revolts broke out, the government crushed them.
Okay. So we have that conflict again with the German-speaking Austrians. One thing you got to remember here is one cultural group is being represented. Make sure you have that down. Sad face. Not a good thing. What else could we have here? Michaela?
The Habsburgs ignored nationalist demands as long as they could.
Now, why are they ignoring these demands? What do you guys think?
From the Habsburg.
Yep. Habsburgs is our ruling family here. Okay?
Does it tie back with how they don't want to lose their power?
Absolutely. Okay? We don't want to lose our power. Now remember, these people are hailing from the Industrial Revolution. Okay? These are your capitalists that are starting to earn money. And again, once you start receiving money, some people begin to have ideas. Okay? So we have German-speaking Austrians. One cultural group is being represented. Sad face, that's a problem. Habsburgs ignore demands because they want to keep their power. Okay? Industrial Revolution. Remember, money equals power. Explain why the dual monarchy was formed. Objective groups. Blake.
I said Austria's defeat brought renewed pressure for change from the Hungarians within the empire, and they became separate states, shared ministries of finance, defense, and foreign affairs.
Okay. Same monarch. Who's that?
Hold on one second. Because there's ties and stuff.
Very good.
The team with
So Franz Joseph. You could have different constitutions.
Better rank. Someone's in charge, doesn't it?
Economy. What else? Blake, you said one more up there. Different constitutions, different economies.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Foreign affairs.
Foreign affairs. Very good.
It's fine with me, I guess. I read it.
Have down here culturally different. That's one of the main reasons why. Okay? Final objective. Explain why conflicts erupted in the Balkans. Maslak.
Various subject peoples staged revolts against the Ottomans, hoping to set up their own independent states.
Very good. So various groups, what do you say, many different cultures in one small area all believe they should be able to govern themselves. Togo. Whoops. Excellent job. Any questions? Peer tutors are passing back your homework packets. Make sure you get the next section done for homework.
That's good.